Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, Cars. You subscribed, you already know that, right? So we decided to spin it off. We're at number 154, I believe. Is it 154?
155.
It's hard to keep track. We do so many of them. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out asking for questions. It's only up for a short time. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
What have you heard of the Volvo EX60 and EX30 cross-country? Do you think it's a smart choice for Volvo to focus on EVs so much?
Well, it's funny because I just watched, those of you who are YouTube car enthusiasts will know Harry's Garage.
Yeah, Harry's Garage.
I'm watching a video this morning and he's going through how all of these brands are walking back their EV targets and are embracing hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or just straight gasoline technology into the future. And one brand he actually mentioned was Volvo. So everything is on the table now, Andrew, because the sands are shifting so quickly.
Well, Porsche and Audi...
he mentioned them too.
Yeah, just announced that they're going to be producing gas models for longer. Not surprising, right? We've talked about this. Read the room. Things are changing a bit. This is the thing about Volvo. These two models, the EX60 is coming in a bit. EX30 is already out. It's now being built in Belgium versus China. These vehicles were all created, thought about, how are we going to go with the market many, many years ago. And so now they're here. And things have changed a little bit.
But they also bought into the EV mandates where it's going to be all EV by 2030, 2035. And now, as we have said, we're now episode 155, right?
155.
For many episodes over the last couple of years, that reality is now crashing into ideology. And the ideology is you know, it's a good idea. We'll all go electric. We'll reduce our emissions. All of that is true. But the reality of doing it is something totally different. And they're not going to be able to hit these targets, so they're walking them back, which I think opens up the regulations to include things like regular hybrids, because Toyota gets no credit for how much carbon they've pulled out of vehicle transportation, and they actually have pulled more carbon out of vehicle transportation than all of the other EV brands combined.
Yep. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
It's impressive.
But they got a lot of crap because they didn't have an EV when others were really pushing forward with EVs. But just remember, it takes a long time, up to 10 years, to design, create, build a vehicle from start to finish. And Volvo had these plans for a long time. Volvo's also done a really good job with plug-in hybrids. They've had that technology for a long time. But I guess they're going to have to backtrack a little bit. They still have gas models. They've got plug-in hybrids. They have EVs. They actually have a really nice mix portfolio.
I think Volvo is in a good position to actually mature their plug-in hybrids because they were so early, earlier than everybody else in the luxury space to come out with plug-in hybrids. They've sold incredibly well, but the range really hasn't improved that much. They could focus on improving the range. Like you can look at the range of vehicles like Range Rover. Just trying to think of other brands like...
even the GLC,
Mercedes-Benz.
Plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, so a much longer range. And I think they could really accomplish that.
If you needed to choose an SUV, new Honda Passport, Trail Sport, Elite, or Subaru Forester Touring, I realize the price and SUV class are different. It's for myself and 3 Labradors. Thank you for your opinion and all your fabulous content. Thank you.
So is that the new Passport, the one we saw at the auto show?
Maybe, yeah, new Honda Passport.
I think it looks pretty damn cool.
I really like it a lot. Look, we haven't driven it yet, but it still has that V6. I would be more, especially with 3 Labs, I would go for the Passport. There's just more space than the Forester.
Okay, what you do is you have 3 Labs. You take a picture of one and a picture of the other, and you put dog treats on both. 3 dog treats on one, 3 dog treats on the other, and then whichever one they eat the 3 dog treats first, that's your choice.
Well, they're definitely going to go for the Passport because there's just more room to move and to eat their treats.
The Labradors know that.
They know it. They know it. But we really like like the Passport a lot. We saw it at the LA Auto Show. We did a first look review on it. And yeah, it's in a different class. I think that you need more space. The only problem is fuel economy isn't that great.
Well, it's not going to be good with the V6.
No.
You know, the Forester, right? Yeah, the Forester is going to get way better fuel economy.
Yes.
But is that your motivation, or are you looking to pamper the pups?
I would pamper the pups because they deserve it. Love dogs and cats. If the Chevy Equinox EV is assembled in Mexico, does leasing one still support the U.S. economy?
I don't think you can get around supporting the U.S. economy with any vehicle because
No.
it's such an integrated supply chain. Hello, Donald Trump. You can't just shut down Canadian manufacturing or Mexican manufacturing without impacting. And that's what Jim Farley was talking about recently. He said it's going to add loads of cost if you want to put tariffs on Canadian-made vehicles or vehicles made in Mexico. It's so integrated. It's hard to know where a vehicle begins and ends when it comes to where its origins are.
So true. So I pulled some information for you from GM Authority. This isn't
They're the authority on GM.
This isn't from GM. This is GM Authority, but some interesting
It's a
information.
good website.
Yeah.
It is.
So the 2024 Equinox and Blazer EVs, 62% of the components originated from US and Canadian suppliers, while 18% were sourced from China. But by comparison, the 2025 model year sees a dramatic reduction in Chinese-sourced parts, with GM instead shifting its part sourcing preference towards Mexico and South Korea, with 46% of components now coming from Mexico and 20% from South Korea. So that is a drop in parts coming from Canada and the U.S. down to 12%.
Yeah, maybe they read the room. They saw Donald Trump won the election. They're
Whoa.
readjusting their supply chain. It could just be a coincidence. Listen, cars have so many components from all over the place. That's why the rules of origin, they call it, for even the North American Free Trade Agreement, whatever it's called, USMCA, is hard to do because parts travel back and forth across the border so many times, and the final assembled vehicle maybe originate from Mexico or from Canada or from the US, but the parts in it, who knows?
Final assembly is in Mexico.
Yes.
Do you think Acura will roll out an over-the-air update for enabling widescreen mode on 2019 to 2024 RDX models? I drove a loaner 2025 RDX, and the only thing I want in my 2020 is the widescreen mode. Right now, no. Reports are you cannot get an over-the-air update for that. Now, will Acura change that down the road? Maybe. But as it stands for now, I'm actually surprised how many people off of Instagram have sent me a direct message saying how much they like that. I didn't think that would be such a big deal, but it is. In your opinion, what would be a good garage mate for an X5 if you're in your early 40s with a 5-year-old boy, 4-season climate, too tall for the MX-5?
So you want to have a fun car that's too tall for an MX-5. I'd go right back to BMW. What about the 2 Series?
Yeah, I was thinking 2 Series or even like the M3, or what about like a 4 Series Cabriolet if you want a convertible?
Yeah.
I was also thinking the other end, like a GR Corolla or an Alfa Romeo Giulia.
Yeah, I would go back to your dealer and then just speak to your sales manager and say, hey, when you get a nice 4 Series, and they're called 4 Series now. It screws me up because the 3 Series was the 2-door. Now they changed it to 4 Series. You get a nice 4 Series convertible or coupe that comes in. Because one of the reasons is you want to have a back seat big enough that a kid can sit in and be comfortable. So that would be good. I think the 2 Series is great too, but they don't have the convertible. They got rid of the convertible. Why did they get rid of the convertible?
And the back seat's pretty tiny. I don't know if I think just more comfortable would be the 4 Series. Cabriolet, super fun. You can also get an M4 Cabriolet if you have the budget for it. We saw, was it a 1 Series that time, or was it a 2 Series?
We almost bought one, Andrea.
It was a 1 Series, wasn't it?
Yes, we had a 1 Series. Check this out. I wish we had bought it. It was a 1 Series 135, so it had the 6-cylinder engine, and it was a manual transmission, and it was like silver or something, brand new from the dealer. It was $36,000.
I thought it was an automatic.
Maybe,
and that was
maybe,
why we didn't.
well, maybe for you in those days.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
think
to
it was
remember, 'cause
an automatic.
Andrea wasn't driving stick. But
Oh,
anyway.
at that time, no.
I've got it wrong. It was a 128. It wasn't it was still the inline six, but
That's
it wasn't the higher performance one, which, by the way, you can modify to get more power out of it.
Yeah.
But that would have been a great little fun runaround car. And then we didn't pull the pin on it and they were all gone.
They were all gone.
At 36 grand.
But-
Can you believe that? Zork, what were you thinking?
But I have to say, I'm glad we didn't, because it was an automatic, and I'm into manuals, so
It'd be good for the kids
better.
now.
Yeah, good. Oh, they would love it.
Love it.
What do you think are the top 3 best crossover hybrid SUVs right now? I'm considering a Mazda CX-50 GT Hybrid. Well, we really think that the RAV4 is one of the best. It gets the best fuel economy, has enough space, and lots of different trims for different budgets.
So I think that the Honda CR-V Hybrid, when it first came out, we hammered it because of the price. But I don't know if you've noticed, everyone seems to be catching up to Honda and their crazy pricing. Like 2 years ago, we were all like, what the hell is Honda doing putting out the pricing of that vehicle like that? But then the market's catching up to them. The one brand that isn't yet is Toyota. They have more trims of hybrids than anybody else with the RAV4. It's the best-selling vehicle in North America, take away full-size pickup trucks. And the cheap ones, the entry-level ones, are actually really good value. I suspect when the new one comes out at the end of this year, the price will change.
For sure. And also that top trim of the RAV4 Hybrid, it gets up there on price, including freight, PDI, and fees. Like, it's around just over $50,000. So they're all kind of competitive now. And then the top trim of the CX-50 Hybrid, MSRP, because I noticed actually that Mazda on their site in Canada doesn't show that initially on the screen with freight, PDI, and fees. You have to go into the summary.
Why? I thought that was now law.
I know. I thought so too, but they still don't do it. Anyway, MSRP is around $48,000 for that CX-50.
But it comes really nicely equipped.
Really nicely equipped.
It
And you know
depends. Wait a
what?
second. If you're from the U.S. or Canada, the American one does not come nicely equipped.
Yes.
And the Canadian one does. So if you're in Canada, that might be one to consider.
This person said GT, so the GT is Canadian.
So one thing the only pause I would push on that button, Andrea, is the fact that it's a first year.
Yeah.
And it is not their hybrid system. It's a plug and play from Toyota, but you're still integrating it in to another brand's platform. Is it all going to be perfect? It probably will be. I'm a kind of a wait and see on that, which is why a RAV4 is hard to beat. It's really hard to beat.
Yeah, CR-V is the quietest out of
Yeah.
all of them, and I think that the seats in the CR-V are the most comfortable. The seats in the CX-50 are short, so not as much thigh support, so you have to try it and make sure you like it. But I think that the CX-50, out of all of them, has the most beautiful interior. And the fuel economy is good as well because it's using the Toyota powertrain. Is Honda updating the HR-V and adding a hybrid option? Thanks for the
It'd be
good
nice.
chat.
I think that's a great option for them to do that. We talked about it all the time.
Well, we would like them to add it because the HR-V is slow on the highway, but in the city
slow.
as a runaround, it's fine.
Slow, period. And it's noisy.
And it's
Listen,
noisy.
the engine they use in the HR-V is the 2-liter 4-cylinder that they've used in Civic. We have a Honda Civic with the 2-liter engine. It will run and run and run. It's one of those sort of legendary Honda engines.
Yep.
It's a really good engine. It's just working too hard because it's not a Civic. It's much bigger. So they had to add more weight. And because of that, it struggles. It needs more power. And I think that a hybrid would maybe solve all of that.
You know, I talked to Honda at a drive event one time, and I was asking them about this, and they said, yeah, well, we did talk about that at one point, that we had announced that a Pilot and a CR-V and an HR-V hybrid would be coming, but I can't seem to find it online anywhere.
If I was a betting
there's
person,
no time frame on it.
If I was a betting person, I would bet it's coming.
For sure.
Here's the thing is, read the room. People want hybrids. They're not running towards EVs in the numbers that manufacturers had initially thought.
Yeah.
As Harry said at the beginning. But there you go.
We're going to drive the ADX soon, and I've got questions for Acura for sure about are they going to go with a hybrid at some point? Are they sticking with their original plan of just going with electric vehicles? I'm going to try and get some answers for you guys.
Read the room.
Yeah. Hi, love your content. Thank you. We're trying to lease an SUV for 2 large men and a big dog. We move furniture and timbers on occasion, so we're looking for a large SUV or an SUV that can tow a trailer. We have a tight budget of about $500 a month for a lease, and we need great suspension since we are living in Montreal, pothole central. What would you recommend? 3, 2, 1. I just want to add something before we do a 3, 2, 1.
I don't know how much they're towing, though. That's what I need to know.
We don't know how much you're towing, but also we don't know what lease rates are.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing. Like, you're trying to come in under $500 a month.
I've got one in my mind.
Yeah, can I just add one more thing? Like, I looked at Honda and I looked at Toyota, and the interest rates online in Canada.
Let me guess. 7.5%.
One of them was like 8 point something percent. But then I looked at Volkswagen and the Atlas Cross Sport. They've got it pretty low, the interest rates.
The trend in the midsize SUV space is to go to turbo 4-cylinder engines. So I'm going to suggest one that is a turbo 4 that I think offers a lot of value.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think I know. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Or should we say it at the same time?
Yeah, let's see it at the same time.
Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1. Chevy Traverse. Look at
See?
that. Are we on the same page or what? It's like we're married.
Great minds think alike, right?
I think that vehicle offers a lot of value. And because it's a midsize, they all do 5,000 pounds towing capacity.
They do.
Chevrolet and General Motors, they always have some kind of deal cooking.
But I did look that one up because I figured we would talk about that, and the interest rate was also high, and that was higher than $500 a month. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be money on the hood if you go in and you talk to them.
There's always money on the hood with Chevrolet. Seems to be.
Do you know what I would go for?
Okay. Tell me, describe the car, and I'll see if I can guess it.
Do I really?
Yeah, describe it. Describe it.
It still has a V6.
A V6. Okay. Pilot?
No.
Okay. What else does it have? I love this game,
It's
by the way.
It's a 5-passenger.
A 5-passenger.
Has a V6.
Has a V6.
It's non-luxury.
Non-luxury.
Come on, you know this. We just talked about it.
Oh, the Passport.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know what the lease rate is. So that's the one I would get. It has a good towing capacity as well.
We also like the Explorer.
Oh, the Explorer
drives
really
well.
Good
They
too.
did a nice job. They updated it.
Yeah, we like the Explorer.
They did a nice job with that.
So let's say those. Let's say you have to do your due diligence with the interest rates because that's going to bring your payments down.
But they also change month to month.
And they change month to month. So Chevy Traverse, Honda Passport, Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport.
Or just the Atlas generally. Yeah.
Or the Atlas. But if you only want a 5-passenger, you don't want that third row, you could go for that.
Just fold the seats
Or what
down.
about the CX-50 inline 6?
Sorry, Andrea, what's the next question? One more question. Look, we're running out of time.
3, 2, 1. Gosh, we're getting all these 3, 2, 1s. You guys know we love them. Acura RDX versus Genesis GV70 versus Lexus RX Hybrid.
Oh, wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second.
RDX.
The RDX, we just drove it.
GV70.
GV70.
RX Hybrid.
Okay. Now, this is not the high-performance hybrid of the Acura.
Of the RX. It just says RX Hybrid, so let's just go with comparable pricing. No.
So only one is a hybrid.
Only one's a hybrid.
All right. That's easy, Andrea. 3, 2, 1, Lexus.
You got ahead of me.
Sorry.
So
Okay,
fast.
ready, Andrea? 3, 2, 1.
RX.
Lexus.
I'm picking the RX because A,
Resale
value, B, reliability,
fuel economy.
C,
Fuel economy.
fuel economy.
Yeah.
I like it. Actually, I like it a lot.
We just gave the RDX back. You're going to see a video on the RDX.
Okay, Zach, this is going to be a real quick one.
No, we're already
just super
way
quick,
over.
because it's about the Vancouver Auto Show.
Okay.
I'm hoping to attend the Vancouver Auto Show this year. Do you think they'll ever reveal new cars at the show?
It's kind of no. They'll do a regional reveal or something like that. They never really do a full pull the sheets off. It's the first time we've ever seen it. That doesn't really happen.
Not at the Vancouver.
But it's a good way. They keep those big reveals for the large international shows, like L.A., New York, European shows, stuff like that.
Sometimes Chicago.
Chicago,
But
yeah.
you know what was interesting last year? Lincoln had us come to an event the night before the auto show, and they did unveil the Aviator refresh. Remember
That's
that?
true. Yeah, that is
But
true.
they didn't do it at the auto show. They did it before, but it was on location at the auto show on display.
Anyway, it's still a great auto shows. You know, recently we're going off about how I hate going to media day at auto shows because it's just chaos for the most part. Excuse me. But auto shows are valuable to go and actually get in and out of all the cars, and there's no salespeople there. So go and enjoy it. It's going to be fun.
It's an event.
Plus, the auto show in Vancouver might be the nicest location of any auto show in the world. It's right on the water, looking at the mountains.
Beautiful.
There's restaurants right there.
Well, definitely.
There's
We're gonna
transit. There's
and we're
everything.
going to be there for media day for sure at the Vancouver Auto Show.
Gotta go, Andrea. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I need something. Need some water.
Okay, thanks for watching. And if you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. We do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Next time.
Adios.
I was gonna say adios.
Were you?
Next time, amigos.
Next time, friends.